Hello and welcome to a very special Spoilers Intended, a podcast about series and films. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Andrew and Steven, and we're doing a quick 15-minute reactions to Season 1, Episode 4 of The Acolyte. We're going to put 15 minutes on the clock. Spoilers are everywhere. We're going to give our quick initial impressions of this episode. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
We're ready, and timer's running. Let's go.
Timer's running. Andrew, what do you think?
This episode ended not when I expected it to end.
This felt like the shortest episode in the history of TV.
It
What
felt
was the
very
length on
short.
this episode? I didn't even pay attention.
I think it was 33 minutes.
So officially, it's like 33 minutes, but there's about 5 minutes of credits.
I know.
Plus, there's a recap at the start. It's like a 25-minute episode.
That's what it felt like.
No, okay. Now I'll say this, and this, I'm going to get the good stuff out of the way before I start kind of
Go for
talking
it. Say the good
on
stuff.
other things.
All right, yeah, there you go.
So
Start positive.
I'll say this: I really enjoy short form TV. We don't get enough of it because everyone feels that 45 minutes or an hour long episodes
That's
are
true.
too.
Andrew's
I'm so happy that we have 30-minute episodes, even if
Andrew's
we have.
favorite idea of the best TV is 22 to 24 minutes long.
Yes. And that's the thing is like it ended when I didn't want it to end, and that's probably a good thing because I was like, "Oh, here we go. Stay tuned for next week." Dang it.
Yeah.
Absolutely wrecked. Brutally taken down.
Yeah. What did you guys think? I have a lot of problems with the episode, but really the show as a whole at this point.
I was about to say the same thing. So I'm trying to think of the positives.
Oh dear.
I think the costuming is still really good.
The visuals in this episode were very nice.
Yeah, I like the character designs.
I will say I think the costuming and the character designs are still good and on point, and I think that Yord as a character is becoming more and more interesting as we're going here. His interactions here, I think they at least make him seem a little more not just like the hothead at all times.
Right. Yeah.
Which he's
still super by the book Jedi Knight.
Oh yeah,
just out of the academy.
I am the law kind of thing, which again, if we're playing on the plot of, something shady happened in the background, that's a good character to have in the mix, right? Because you can play off that. So that's my biggest positive for it, is that his character continues to develop.
Yeah. Which unfortunately isn't made enough of a positive to really like get through to recommending this show to anyone that was on the fence about it by this point.
No.
Okay, so I kid you not, and we actually talked about this on an unscripted episode not too long ago about dialogue and show don't tell. And I am so tired of juvenile dialogue to tell us exactly how the plot is going to happen every single minute, and they retell us. Like, we're only 4 episodes in.
The crazy part too,
Andrew, only 4 episodes. What do you mean? We're 50% of the way there.
I know. Don't tell me that.
So they go up to that when they're looking for the Wookiee, and they land and they're talking to that one alien they never name, the guy that Jackie Lon is talking to him. And he goes, he says the thing, and she walks off. She's like, I guess the Wookiee went into the woods. And then Saul walks over and goes, he's in there. And they look at the woods.
Yes.
Like, we got it. We know.
You could have done either one of those things.
Well, it was never like a which woods type scenario. It was like, I got it. He went to the woods.
The funny part is like, so they're asking this dude for like, hey, have you seen the Wookiee? And for as far as we know, this is a very long, indeterminate amount of time that this Wookiee has just been off on his own. And then they're like, don't worry, we've got a tracker. So then initially I was like, wait a second. If you had a tracker, why are you asking things? Yeah. But I can totally understand that because they're like, hey, if you've seen him, just point us in the direction. We'll
at
just
least
go.
Gets us in the right area. Yeah.
But then the tracker is a tracker that tracks by scent. And then I'm like, so the Wookiee, like, so this is like a recent thing.
Well, they were
that
tracking
he's kind of...
May. They weren't tracking the Wookiee.
No, I thought they were tracking the Wookiee.
They were tracking the Wookiee.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
I thought.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, because I was like, so has this Wookiee like just been around, and then like he just kind of went off on his own, like real, like shortly, like not too recently ago? Like,
why did the tracker find May then, and then call out when he found May?
He just encountered her. Yeah,
I don't know.
So he just stumbled upon her?
Yeah, I don't.
But then the blocking of where he was in between her and the hut. So that means that he found the Wookiee.
Went past that.
Is he the Jedi, the Sith master?
Maybe he is. That would be incredible. That would make me turn on this show back to the positive.
So I will say this show, because there's been the theory, right, that the bumbling sidekick dude is the actual master.
Yeah, he is 100%.
Yeah, that's right back on the board here for this.
I'm gonna go look for water. Indeterminate amount of time comes back, and now the Wookiee's dead with a fresh lightsaber blade wound. Right. Come on.
But like, if they do this, then it makes it feel even worse for episode 2, where they just let him go.
Yeah,
like you're an accessory to poisoning of a Jedi Master. We just okay, bud, we'll let you go.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. They didn't have probable cause. Ish.
We don't know how their court system works back then.
Is that how the Republic
I don't think the Jedi know how the court system works either. Because
he had a literal get out of jail free card, and they're like, "Dang, you played it."
You pulled out the Monopoly card.
Uno reverse, no.
Yeah, like at this point, he has to be like definitely like much more involved than obviously how he's acting about it. I also
What's his name? Do we know his name?
Khmer.
Okay.
QMIR.
QMIR.
They've said it, but
I missed it. It's irrelevant right now. So the question that I have is, like, May's turn to like, I'm just going to turn myself into the Jedi because my sister's alive, even though she knew that she was alive.
I love how she just had a sit down and a good think, and then she's like, you know what?
You know what? We went on a nice walk in the forest, and I've had time to think about this, and you know what? I don't want to be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil involves too much running. I'm over it.
Well, she was like, so it's funny too. And like, there was a moment in this episode where like she was talking to her partner or whatever. And she was like, well, if I don't do it, he'll kill me. And then the look on her face was like kind of her realizing what she just said. And she was like, he'll kill me.
He'll kill me. Wait a minute. Are we the baddies?
Right.
Like, what?
When, like, I feel like if we had a little more context of what's happening between her and her master to understand some of the stakes and what his goals might be, we could maybe see some shapes moving, but we don't. So she's like, he'll kill me. And I'm like, has he said in the previous episodes that he would kill her if she didn't do this task?
Well, we only heard like one ridiculous monologue from him in episode 1.
But in that monologue, did he say, and if you don't do this, I'm totally going to kill you? Because I don't remember him saying that. I don't remember that being a stake is what I'm trying to get.
No,
get
I will say, no, we can, since we're talking about the Sith or the master at this point, we don't know if he's a Sith. He's probably a Sith. He has a red lightsaber. That's how it works in Star Wars. Yeah.
He had a mask on. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I will say the way they set up that whole scene was really well done, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So, what, like 85% of this episode is just like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Right. What is going on? And then we hit the last little bit. You're like, oh, okay, this could redeem the whole episode's over. What?
It started when May walked into the hut, and you knew that the Wookiee was dead, and then the shadow creeps over, like the sun sets.
The sun sets,
and then he like hovers down behind Osha, and I'm like, ooh, I like this composition.
But also when that happened, and he's just like slow walking towards her, and all the Jedi are like, let's stay back here and not defend Osha at all. Let's let her be out there and go toe to toe with this guy.
Well, I love how Soul is just like, Osha, run, and Osha doesn't, and the Master's like, fine, I'll make you run.
Yeah, and just like tosses her.
Well, I honestly thought that he was about to just open his lightsaber into her.
Oh, when it appeared behind her, I was like, "Is this a through her gut moment?"
Yeah, a Kylo
gonna Reva it and just be fine in like the next scene.
Oh gosh, don't do that. Don't say that.
Okay, so that's the thing, though. I was like, "Ooh, this will be a really good narrative reason for May to turn back to help the Jedi." Is watching her sister get murdered by her master.
I thought that's where it was going to, where she's like, am I the baddie? I don't know if I want to be the baddie. I'm going to turn myself in, and then it happens. She's like, okay, I am definitely not a baddie.
Yeah, that's what I wanted right there. I mean, no, we still may get that, but because he pushed her out of the way and then did the big force push against all the Jedi, I was like, okay, they're probably not going to kill Osha, which is unfortunate. Not because I don't like her. It's just I like when good characters die.
Well, it would certainly juice up May's story.
It would.
I mean, yeah, it's the same actress. Like, I'm not. There is no like, oh, I wish they'd get rid of her so she's not on screen. We still would have.
We would get more of May.
And that's the thing too. Well, and that's the thing. I think she's a much more compelling character than Osha is. And if for whatever reason they killed Osha, it turns into, oh, this was definitely hiding its cards until we got the backstory of them and we thought Osha was the main character and it's actually May.
Yeah, I mean that could actually be a pretty big flip. But I don't think if we do the whole,
I don't think it's going that direction.
He threw her and that kills her. That's a weak answer. It had to have been
we needed like immediate oh, she is 100% dead. Yeah. But I don't think we're going that direction, which is unfortunate because I really wish it would have been.
So what do we think about the bit where Soul is like, I brought you to confront
your past,
and afterwards, we're going to talk about what happened.
And he also said was like, in my past too. So I was like, okay, so you just expecting
we're going to drop the shoe here.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly, they were
something happened.
Yeah, something. Like even Venestra, the Green Jedi Master or whatever, she clearly knew why they were there 16 years ago as well. And he was like, no one could have survived that fall. And
her whole I wish you would have told me then.
Yeah.
And, we can't alert the High Council because then it has to be reported to the Senate. Obviously we're on the down low here. There's some shadiness involved, which that's good stuff. That's compelling and interesting.
We need more time with it.
Right. Yeah. We can't just 2 lines of dialogue and that'll carry us through the next 4 episodes.
Yeah. Because now that we're halfway through, I feel that we've been treading water for about an episode and a half now.
Well, the whole front, 80% of this episode before they got to that turn felt like this could have been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they tried to give us some character development with Osha a little bit, with
what's her face?
Jackie Lon. I keep forgetting her name. And it's cool, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that feels
that's the thing is you could still have these good interactions while you're really progressing, but it felt like they would be okay, we're traveling to the place and then we're going to have a dialogue scene and then we're traveling and dialogue.
This episode kind of felt like they took a bunch of scenes that they shot and they decided they didn't need them, so they had cut them. And they're like, hey, we need another episode. Well, let's pull these other scenes and put them back together and make an episode. Kind of.
Because it did feel a little disjointed.
Yeah, it didn't flow very well.
Also, the quote unquote comedic scene when the droid, the Pip, squirts the tracker.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there watching the scene unfold, and I'm like, okay, so what's this little tracker dude? I didn't know he was a tracker at the time, but I can't remember his name.
What's this dude's deal?
Oh, yeah. There was also a cool cat alien in the background of whenever her Osha and Soul were talking, just in the hallway. Mm-hmm. But it's all blurred out, but it's definitely a cat alien. Anyways, continue.
Well, I mean, they keep throwing her. You would as the anime fan be like, "Cat girl."
But she's in that briefing. She's wearing her civilian clothes, which I felt like that was supposed to be a comedic pop that didn't hit for me either. She's like, I'm not wearing the civilian robes. I was like, I wonder what that is. Then it cussed her in it, and I think what they wanted us to do was go ha 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 ha. And instead, I was like, oh, okay. They should have looked way doofier. It should have looked ridiculous in order for me to get any kind of
over
laugh.
the top. Instead, I was just a civilian.
I kind of like the gray. I was like, I don't know, I kind of like him.
Yeah,
I don't look that bad.
Kind of styling over here.
Yeah, and then the Pip droid, which we haven't used enough, they have not done enough with it to make it a beloved part of the show yet.
Yeah,
has this interaction with what becomes the tracker, and you're like, okay, what's happening? And then she stands up, and then he's like, is there a question? Because remember, I'm by the book, and that's my character. And you're like, what's happening here? Are you not allowed to ask questions? I don't understand why any of this should be awkward or funny. And the scene just ends, and you're like, was that leftover parts? What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, or almost like they sliced out the not great takes of these scenes and they put them together. It's like, but why did we keep the B take and not the A take?
Well, I mean, so moving forward, because we only have a minute left.
1 minute, yeah, we're running out of time.
I am looking forward to next week's episode, and I couldn't say that about going into this week's episode from last week.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, same boat here. We did it. We ended on a note of, okay, let's drop some shoes. Let's make something happen here.
Yeah.
Well, because we started the series off weird with episode 1 with a lot of action right at the front, and then they haven't really revisited that action as much. They did a little bit when they confronted May, Yeah, but now it's like maybe we'll get another dose of it, because that's when I think the show has been its best, honestly.
Yeah, because the choreography for the fights have been objectively very good.
Pretty good, yeah.
And so I really want to see what they do when you have, I'll say, two equal parties going at it.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see, a handful of Jedi with lightsabers going after
a single Master Sith,
right? I mean, this is, we're back to Duel of the Fates, the best lightsaber fight that's ever made, right?
Yeah,
like, come on.
And that's our time.
That is the time. Yes, indeed.
Well, I guess at that point, let's do a real quick toss to the website, spoilersintendedpodcast.com. You can go there, check out our Discord, check out our Patreon. We're going to be doing this for every episode this season. And then we will also do a final review of the Acolyte as a whole at the end. Stay tuned for that. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Steven.
And every spoiler was intended.